Darren was
doing during this whole
outstanding. Everybody on the team was tickled he was there. He worked his lanes.
Did you hear that?
I wasn't.
Worked his lanes every shift.
Worked
at least 3 posts that I
worked the doors.
And he was more.
You have a word to describe Darren's play?
Well, for us, he was
the enforcer.
He was the enforcer, but more importantly, he was the ambassador of Quan. Good spirits. He was the guy that made sure the pucks were there. He was the guy that made sure that organizationally wise, from organizational standpoint, Deputy Superintendent really took care of everything we need to, along with
Yep.
So I hear, you say organization, I hear towels, water bottles.
No.
I'm just asking the question.
Played up and down, played hard and physical.
Just asking the question.
Created a lot of space. Created a lot of space.
That's my boy. That's my boy right there.
And you know what, against the Russians, that was the only penalty they called against them.
Yeah.
We haven't even get to the Russians yet. We'll get there in a second. Well, so 5-0, who'd you play in the semis?
We played the Connecticut-Rhode Island combo team.
And this was the team that you guys were, the Hall and Palmeters?
Yeah, Palmeters, Brian Liddy, Chris Wines.
Wines, a former Bruin?
Yes. Yep.
Out of UNH?
Yep, UNH.
Yep.
And
had a team.
You know, it was a team almost identical to ours. And again, that was
they were missing the enforcer in the third line. The third line they were missing.
Prince of Quan? Yeah. Was it Prince of Quan?
Myself, Teddy Boudreau, and They didn't have that third line. So.
What comes back to me is that Terry Long, for instance, who had a phenomenal, Brendan's cousin, Terry Long, who had a phenomenal
Here we go.
Week, that he had said with about 4 minutes left, it was amazing. He says, "Hey, I got no gas left in the tank." He played so hard.
He's a young kid too, right?
Yeah, he's unbelievable, and no gas left in the tank. You know, I got to sit down, and that shows you really how everybody on the team played. Okay. You know,
are these games well attended? Are you playing in front of
everybody
thousands, hundreds?
No, it's a rink with 4 rinks in it, and everybody goes to watch. The team that everyone wanted to watch was us, you know. So
the chatter starting once they see you guys play. That you guys are you guys the favorite? Is there a target kind of thing going on?
Well, we were actually after the 5th. You know, coming into the 5th game, everyone thinking that we were gonna have a great final game, and everyone wanted to see it. And,
right. So we're 6-0 taking on the Russians.
We were both 6-0.
And I can't help but, I mean, has anyone in this table played against the Russians before? Is this the first time since you
played the Russians? I've played the Russians.
You had played the Russians.
I have, yes.
Yeah.
There's one.
And Cliff had, you know.
Cliffy had, so you indirectly played against them.
Yeah.
Maybe in chess.
Maybe in chess. That's a good answer. Yeah. Now, are you guys watching the Russians and thinking, okay, it's us and them coming?
Yeah, we try to watch as many of the teams that we could figure out that we might be playing, the possibility. And there were some terrific Canadian teams. We watched the game before it that we thought we were going to play the Kitchener Rangers, and they ended up losing to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the team that we beat in overtime.
I just want to make everybody playing is either a police officer or a firefighter.
That's correct.
And these are the Olympic Games for police departments and fire departments not around the world.
Yep.
So let me ask you this. So when you guys see the Russians play,
we still haven't checked the Russians, any of their credentials yet. That was the
So the game was under protest. Breaking news. We got to get the breaking news graphic.
No, but
game is under protest. No, but when you guys are watching them, I mean, you think Russia, you think USA. You can't help but think back to 1980 gold medal game, although it wasn't, back in '80 the gold medal game. But I mean, you guys thinking thoughts like that?
Miracle on Ice, baby.
Miracle on Ice. I mean, I know it's a corny question, but how do you not think that a little bit?
Exactly.
Don't think that wasn't the chatter in the locker room.
Were you the Brooksy? Either Herb Brooks or you the...
Well, Mark was the Herb Brooks, and I was the nervous guy getting everything ready.
Who's the GM? I can't even think of his name. Was it Craig Patrick?
I think it was.
So you're the Craig Patrick?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you're watching the Ruskies, Brendan. What are you saying? You're like, oh, man, these guys are good, or...
Well, I think the one thing that I could identify with was the skill level. I think a lot of those guys had played, and they have a similar setup as their AAA affiliate is the KLH team or their league, and they have a multitude of different leagues. And just like kids play baseball and football and ice hockey here, it's in Russia, from playing it internationally, that is their sport.
Are they playing a different game than what we?
And we actually caught them in they were in another division.
Okay.
And we were able to watch them, and I think you could identify with how well they played as a team and their skill level and their depth of their team. I think they had like 5 lines.
I'm guessing they're not dumping and chasing. Is it like tons of puck
incredible.
possession?
Yeah,
you don't see it, you wind it back out, come back in, tic-tac-toe passes kind of thing?
Exactly. And the thing that I loved hearing for the whole week that we were there from the different people, whatever countries they were from, was a good team, eh? You know, what was the other one? Tough, no. You know, so everything that you hear just adds to
about
our team. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yep.
So did anybody? So let's you get to the championship game. You take it on the Ruskies. Did anybody get to, like in pregame warmups and say, "Hey, Brendan Welch, I will break you"? Did anybody say anything like that? I mean,
no, they were outstanding. They really were, and we got a couple early penalties called on us, 2 power play goals against us. With the first 2 goals scored, that the Russians scored, and that kind of set the tempo. But everybody hung
down
in.
2-0 early.
Yep, and everybody hung in, and Chris, Brendan, I know they both hit the post 3 or 4 times, and you know, it's just one of those games that you come up short on, and I'm real proud of the way everybody played, and we represented Boston just unbelievable.
Well, let me ask you that. I mean, were people talking about the team from Boston before the tournament? You know, if they were talking about you guys before?
No, other than just family and friends. I don't think it was a big, a lot of talk around the neighborhood. Did you think so? I didn't think so.
No, just...
Because this is your first splash on the international scene, so to speak. You haven't played the team from Norway, Russia.
Right.
I imagine most of the teams from...
The New York teams knew that we would have a good team, and anyone that knew our roster that was on the Connecticut team would know. But, hey, the only other American teams that were there was a team from California, Arizona, Atlantic City, and the 4 New York teams, you know.
Yeah.
So when we say you guys, or we have... Because I want to go to Belfast in a couple of years, but we'll talk later.
Yeah, we have a lot of requests on that already.
Yeah.
I'm going to start my fundraising next month.
I can bring as much to the table as this guy, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But not as much, but maybe a little.
Yeah.
But we'll work on it. Maybe not as much. Right.
It's all right, kid.
Okay, I mean, safe to say we're the second best team. We have the second best police hockey team in the world. Is that a fair statement?
Well, I would look at it from I looked at what we did as a team, and just looking at where we were, you know, as a team. City of Boston, our team was just represented from Boston police officers, and we had no ringers. We did take on Scott was with Quincy Police, and Steve Goslin was with Goslin was with Weymouth Police Department. Those are kind of the only 2 guys that we had that were outside our department. But the teams that we were playing represented what their national team is. So you take a whole province from New Brunswick, and that would be their best players from New Brunswick, from off their fire department.
Not just
it wouldn't be one town, or if you're in Saskatchewan, it wasn't just the Yorkton Police Department. It was the whole province. Their best players from their whole province.
Okay. Would that be akin to like taking the best players from Massachusetts?
Yeah, if you took the whole team, players from Massachusetts. So I think not taking away anything from what the finals were and what the tournament represented. I thought, and I was proud of how we all played.
Hell yeah.
And how we carried ourselves, and it was enjoyable.
What you say about hockey in Boston?
We celebrated 2 birthdays. We were down there. Dave Cooper turned 35, and Brendan St. Peter turned 6.
Yep.
And we had 2 birthday parties for them. And
let's see that team photo again, please. All right. So if you play the Ruskies 10 times, what happens? Do we split the series? Do we beat them? Do they beat you?
They know they have a hockey game every time we play them. You know, that's the best way to say it. We have no quitting our guys, and they're with them every time they play them. But they're a tremendous team, and don't sell them short. They were well skilled, and came to win the tournament just like we did.
All right. What about the guys who were complaining about not getting enough ice time?
Well, you always have a little of that. Not Darren. Darren.
Right. I'm not talking about anybody in studio. I'm just saying in general.
He didn't complain about anything.
Jealousy's really rearing its ugly head right now. It's okay, kid. Don't worry about it.
Jealousy. All right. We got to close it up. How fun was it for you to play?
It was a great experience. I couldn't be more proud of the men, how they represented the department. From Brendan, from Chris to the McHales, everybody was great. I don't want to even say any names. I don't want to leave anybody out, but everyone was a class act, and I couldn't be more proud of the way they acted.
We had so many people help us.
I want you to thank people in a second. Let me just last question. I mean, Brendan, how much fun was this to participate in, and obviously looking forward to Belfast? Something you definitely want to be a part of?
Oh, absolutely. I think that especially being in that atmosphere with you know, the different people who are in public safety, and to kind of be able to share and be able to communicate with them and kind of see people that kind of outside your realm, so to speak. That was a lot of fun.
The International Brotherhood. All right, we're wrapping up, but I want you to thank people you need to thank on the way out.
I have to. There's like 33, 35 names here. But starting with, first of all, the mayor and Billy started from the Pell program and the mayor of Boston. The Emerald Society, Danny Adams and all his friends at the Emerald Society. The Boston Police Patrolmen's Association, I got to thank Tommy Nee, Tommy Pratt, Ronnie McGilvery, and Pat Rose, the City Credit Union, and the Boston Police Relief. Thanks to both of them through Stevie Green, a great officer over at District 4, the Superior Officers Association, Frankie Armstrong and Billy Walsh, and Boston Police Detectives, Ray Mosher, Jimmy Burns, and Tom Dreschler, and then personal friends that I went to that were unbelievable.
You only have 5 minutes.
Bob Sheridan from SBLI, John Conley, the Iron Workers from South Boston, the local Mount Washington Bank, Jay Hurley and the District New England Council, Louis Hedaya, George Reagan, B.J. Fennell, Congressman Steve Lynch, Nikki Collins, the Glenn Corporation, Tommy Montgomery, Mark Gannon, the Sausage King, Jerry and Cy Lanigan and Hurley's Hooker, Pat's Pizza over in South Boston, Touchy McDonough with the Shamrock over in South Boston, Peter Boyce from Casey and Hayes, Charlie Hold'em from the NCAA, John and Skip Adams, Jack Corbett from the Bach Arena, Billy Lenahan, Larry Robichaud, Sean Gabrelli, the rep over in Arlington, Bobby Consalvo, the city councilor, the man out in Hyde Park, Charlie Gianturco, Colin Allen, and all our friends at Amtrak. And most important, I got to say, Commissioner Davis, Dan Superintendent Chief Linsky, Billy Evans, and Paul Fitzgerald, all unbelievable. And
did you take a breath?
Yeah, and Jimmy Kimball and
hey, one question. We're saying goodnight. You said Stevie Green was a great cop. We'll talk about that another time. All right, folks. Thanks for watching tonight's show. That is the medal, the silver medal won by our Boston Police Hockey Team, World Fire Police Games. They were awesome, and hopefully you enjoyed tonight's show. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. Be safe. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Jamie.